It's Dan again, and we're going to be doing something slightly different. Obviously the main difference is you don't get to see my face, so I don't have to worry about shaving, or really even wearing any clothes. That being said, there are going to be quite a few videos that get released, whereby you're just going to see a sort of recorded screen. And the reason for that is, I think I finally come up with an idea whereby I can sort of show off my entire collection without literally just grabbing all the shirts, throwing them onto a table and sort of giving you 2 seconds worth of shirt, because no doubt the video would be like 30 minutes long just to do that. So I've taken inspiration from a lot of videos that I've been watching on YouTube myself, whereby people are travelling around the world, mainly eating food. But as they've been doing that, I've thought, oh, I own a shirt from that country, or oh, I recognise that because I own a team from that area. And that got me thinking, well, what if I was to do a virtual tour of the world? So I don't have to go anywhere, I can stay in my office, and I use all of the sort of teams that I have shirts for as landmarks, as locations to visit. So at the very least, I'm going to learn a little bit more about these teams, because if I'm honest, some of the teams in the more obscure nations and the more obscure teams, I don't really know all that much about. So if someone was to ask me a question, kind of a bit stuck. So if I can learn a little bit about the environment, the area, what it's like to be in that area, then at least I've got something to refer to. So I have 242 shirts. This is my website, of course, by the way. It's got everything I have and plenty more. I have 242 shirts that I'm going to be using. We have 72 countries represented, so that's over a third of all legitimate countries. So that's a decent place to start. As you can see, we've got 29 in Spain, so we're going to spend a lot of time there. So I must pack my sun cream, I suppose. So I've taken all of these shirts and plotted them on a Google map. So all of these black markers here, these are all shirts that I own. So I like to think I've got a decent spread at the moment. We've got all from United States all the way across to New Zealand. So we're going to be definitely picking up some air miles there. This massive cluster is obviously Europe. It's much easier for me to get European shirts. There's your Spain, bit of time there. Spend a lot of time in sort of central and mainland Europe. I've used the stadiums where the clubs play their football at as sort of the location. It's not perfect because some teams share stadiums. Some teams are borrowing a stadium because theirs has either been renovated or they've had to relocate due to war. But it's enough, and you get an idea. So my thinking is we start in United States, sort of New York, work our way through Mexico, Central America, down into South America, hop across to the southern African states. There's not really many in Africa, which is a shame, but it's just so difficult to pick up African shirts. Head into the Canaries, up into mainland Europe, spend most of our time there, decide how we're going to negotiate the Middle East through into sort of Central Asia, visit Japan and whatnot, down into Southeast Asia, and then hopefully finish in sort of Australia and New Zealand. I'm obviously hopefully going to be picking up shirts as the year goes on, so if for whatever reasons we find ourselves with a couple of shirts suddenly in Chad, then we'll find a way to get back to Chad if we're not nearby. If we're hanging out in China, we'll do a little stop off in Chad before we end up back in Laos. Is that Laos? No, Bhutan. Okay then, fair enough. There goes my geographical skills. So all I'm going to be doing is using Google Maps and sort of honing in on one of these locations, like this one in New York for New York City FC. And we're just going to have a little bit of fun. We'll see what's going on. Obviously, America, very similar to UK, so it's going to stand out not much, whereas we end up going to like Thailand and Lebanon. It'll be interesting to see how things are there, so we can see if there's any interesting landmarks, see what the place is like. Maybe we'll click on some of these food places like Sofrito. We'll just click on it and see what's to offer. Photograph, that's a bridge. Okay, so it's like a bar. Okay then. Now is that... well, it's clearly chips. I don't even know what meat that is. It could be chicken or a chop or something. There's the entrance. A couple of alcoholic beverages. Ooh, like a southern fried chicken. That does look really nice. I'm not sure about the waffles though. Not a fan of those. That looks very fancy. A little bit of salad. Some more waffles. That rice, like a rice dish with some sort of oyster or something, or clam. Very good. So we'll see if we can find any interesting places. Right now in America, of course, there'll be fairly obvious places that most people are familiar with, like McDonald's. You'll find like KFCs. There's an Aldi. I didn't even know you had Aldi in America. Interesting. Pizza Hut. So we'll see if any of these are sort of prominent in some of the more interesting countries. And then we'll just see what other facilities are floating around. Re-evolution of hip-hop. Okay, fair enough. And we'll try not to offend too many people. We don't want to insult their sort of neighbourhoods. I'll probably do a lot of streaming myself and then edit some of the more interesting places together, because I might just spend a decent amount of time scrolling around, seeing if there's anything that sort of stands out. I mean, Domino's Pizza. Wow. That's kind of the idea. And then hopefully, just so I'm not randomly choosing places, I will show you the shirts themselves. So like for instance, if we're in Prague, it's because we're using this Prague shirt, which seems to be missing a 0, so I'll edit that in once I've finished this recording. And so that's how it looks. It's also on the website, places to show you where you can buy the shirt, my initial thoughts on them, some facts about them, similar shirts, and if they are featured in any videos, it will pop up on here. So I'm thinking if I do maybe 2 shirts a video, that's probably enough to be to cover it. At that rate, if I do 2 videos a week, it's going to take a year, which certainly gives me enough content to be doing. Let's just hope it's interesting, otherwise it's going to be a very long year. So that's kind of it really. This is sort of a brief introduction as to what it is. I'm going to be doing a blog sort of accompaniment on the website, so you can sort of see what shirts are preferred, so anything that stands out in the video, and sort of additional content that I may have missed. That being said, this is the end of this video. Hopefully you join me on my journey. If not, it's going to be a very lonely one, but at the very least I'm going to pick up a pretty nice tan. So the next video we should be in New York and sort of visit Washington DC also. So that's it. Don't forget your passport. Until next time, thank you.